Hi guys, this is the Intro to Art ready-made still life drawing that you guys are going to be doing. This should be the first project in January when we get back from winter break. Ready-made still life. The project objective. My job for this project is to create a realistic, tonal, observational still life drawing while using correct perspective, proportion, and shading. By the end of the project, I will have created a realistic, tonal, direct, observational still life drawing by using a number 2 pencil to create all 10 values from the value scale and eliminating outlines. We've done this all first semester. You know what you're doing, but you're creating direct observational, like how we've been drawing our hands. You're looking directly at it and drawing what you see. That's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be creating values, all 10 values from the value scale, from dark to light and all those grays in between, and getting rid of all outlines because we do not have outlines. You're going to use a number 2 pencil, a viewfinder, 9x12 white drawing paper, sketch paper, blending tools, rulers, a drawing board if you need it. We'll see about that, and then regular erasers. A still life is a grouping of inanimate objects to be drawn or painted. So you need to have at least 3 objects. And I'm going to go through the checklist so that you know exactly what you need to be including in this. Perspective creates the illusion of depth. So you want to be able to see stuff that's close to you and stuff that's further away. Make sure the proportions are correct. If it's bigger, it needs to be bigger, smaller, smaller. And I'll show you how to use your viewfinder. Helpful hints. Remember, you are graded on how well you include the original objects, their placements, and details. Meaning, if an object is in the picture, you draw it. If it's not there, you don't draw it. You don't draw what you don't see. You only draw what you see. If it is in there, though, you do have to include it. You can't eliminate it. You have to include whatever you see within your viewfinder. Make sure you're eliminating all outlines, using opposite values, darks to lights. Add surface textures. If you pick an area and it has a texture to it, it looks like you could feel it. I want to see that in your drawing. Pick an interesting view. Remember, easiest does not equal most interesting. So in the grading rubric for exploration and development, you pick an easy part just because it's easy. You're going to lose points for that because we want this to be eye-catching and interesting. So step 1, you're going to find your spot in the room. Meaning, you can stay at your seat. If you need to move around, you can. But you're going to use your viewfinder, and you're going to find a still life that's already there. 3 objects or more that come together that you can draw. So let's say I use my viewfinder, and I'm kind of looking at this area. And the closer you get to your eye, you're going to squint one eye, and you're going to look through the other one. The closer you get, the more you see. The further you get, the less you see. You can make this somewhat abstract if you want, but you're going to pick out something to draw. And you know what? I'm going to pick out, and if you want to look right up over here, I'm going to kind of draw this area right here. My little troll, my little horns, part of my mask. Yeah, I think I'm going to kind of draw that. Since I'm holding my viewfinder horizontally, my paper needs to go horizontally. So I'm going to look through there. Now, let me check my checklist. You have to have at least 4 of the 7 items that are listing. So the first one is organic objects. Organic objects are objects that aren't geometric. You can't divide them up using math. So like my little troll doll, that's an organic object because you can't split them down the center and he's perfect. It's like we're organic. We're always off a little bit. So that is included. A strong contrast. So light against dark, smooth against rough, big against little. Strong contrast. So I do have the black against the white wall. So that could kind of count. Straight edges. My frame has those sharp corners to it, so that'll work. Something out of the ordinary, I would say probably the troll doll counts as out of the ordinary. An unusual point of view. I'm not so much unusual because I'm going to be looking at it straight on. But if I were to sit and draw up, that's an unusual perspective. if I found something on the ground to draw, and I'm drawing now looking down onto it, that would be considered an unusual perspective. Obviously, multiple objects. I have at least I have 4 objects in there, so we're good. And then spatial depth, my troll is in front of my frame, which is in front of the mask. So if you take a look over here. So here's my organic object. The strong contrast of the dark against the light background. The straight edges of my frame. Something out of the ordinary, probably the troll doll or the devil horns, you know. Like I said, we're not so much doing an unusual perspective because I'm going to be looking directly at it, but it does have multiple objects, and it does have spatial depth because my troll is in front of my frame, which is in front of the mask. So what I'm going to do, okay, so that's step 2. I went to my checklist, and I got those. I'm going to check off the ones that I have. Good to go. Now I'm going to sketch it out, and I'm going to do a quick kind of, so my troll doll is like here. In a sketch, we're not doing details, we're just kind of planning out where we're going to do all of these things. And then I have my frame. And you know what? How I'm sketching it out, notice I'm too far over, I'm not going to fit my mask. Good thing I just sketched it. It's quick, it's simple. I know that this layout is not going to work. So I'm going to start again. Now this time I'm going to start closer to the edge. Okay, so there's my frame, or my troll doll. There's my frame. And there's my mask. So now I know I can fit all 3 objects in. I have my troll in front of my frame, in front of my mask. This is a good layout. I know that this is what I want to do. Since I'm already on the paper, I can actually just now go in and start drawing it and refining everything. If you're on scrap paper, all you do is you take it and you go to your final drawing paper and you start to draw it. Okay, you already kind of know how you want it laid out. Now you can actually go in, like here's the little troll hat, the hair is kind of facing this way. There's a little ear. There's this painter's easel, or the palette. So I'm kind of starting to now draw it. Remember, always kind of start out sketch and then go in and refine and keep refining and get those edges before you start the details. So if you do need a drawing board, they'll be available. That way, like if you do want to do an unusual perspective, sit on the floor and draw up. You have still a drawing surface. Best composition. Figure out what is going to fill the page up the best, make it most interesting to look at. Then you start adding your values, highlights, shadows with your pencil. Must have all details. Remember, you're creating tonal, dark to light, all the values. And remember, this is not a line drawing. Texture needs to be realistic. So if it has a bumpy texture to it, most of my textures over there except for his hair. His hair, I will need to go in and make sure I give that kind of fluffy, almost cotton candy kind of feel to the hair. Texture needs to be realistic, meaning it needs to look like how it does in real life. Step 7, eliminate all remaining outlines. Step 8, make sure the craftsmanship is neat and complete. Erase all smudge marks, and then you will grade yourself according to the grading rubric. So let's look at the grading rubric. All right. For 9 to 10 points for composition, you need a strong, thoughtful composition that fills up most, if not all, of the drawing paper. Like if you look at here, I know it's on gray paper, different project, same project, but different class, they had to draw it bigger. We use black and white charcoal. For our purposes, we're using pencil and paper, and that's it. But you can see this one, not a good composition. Way too much space left. There needs to be something going on over here. Okay, so really think about, like over here, this is good. This one is good. But again, we have a lot of empty space over here with nothing going on. We could have really added something. Maybe they could have extended the values out further to fill up this space. You know, this is a good perspective. It's looking down into the sink. That one was looking up onto the cabinets. So think about composition. This one, the student actually laid on the floor and looked up, and this was the cabinet, and this is what he could see hanging over the edge of the cabinet from where he was doing his drawing from. So the next one, exploration and development of ideas. Completed drawing shows that excellent, clear, and thoughtful decisions were made when choosing the areas of the room and objects to draw. The area or objects chosen are interesting and eye-catching. This is where it needs to be interesting. These are everyday, normal objects that you need to make look extraordinary. Make them look interesting or different, or somehow capture a look to them that makes it where your viewer wants to look at your work, and it's not just another still life. Organization and relationships for 9 to 10 points. Clear, good, and thoughtful use of textures, values, and unity was used to complete. So do we see the textures in the objects? Do we see the values, lights to dark, so that everything looks 3D and it doesn't look flat? Control of materials, media, and processes for 9 to 10 points. Outstanding exploration and experimentation with materials, pencils. Highly accomplished ability to control the material and the shading processes. Okay, we're going to be looking at how well you were able to create those values. Value, variation, surface textures, and details for 9 to 10 points. The entire drawing includes all of the value, variations, surface textures, and details from the object. So everything that you see, you've included. Checklist for 9 to 10 points. Outstanding ability in recognition and organization of the use of at least 4 of the 7 criteria from the checklist. Highly accomplished ability to express realism through direct observational drawing skills. So again, realistic. You went through the checklist, you made sure you got at least 4 of those items, and then you started your drawing. Personal vision and presentation for 9 to 10 points. Outstanding demonstration of personal and creative response to creating a ready-made still life drawing. Highly accomplished personal evaluation and critical thinking skills when it are clear in all the choices that are made and decisions in completing your work. So you put your thought into it. You made it personal. You made it interesting. You know, not everyone looks down into a sink to create a drawing. So you really kind of put some thought into where you're drawing and why you're drawing that. For 9 to 10 points, blending, shading, gradation, outstanding ability to create a gradual change in values through blending and shading techniques within all of the different shapes and background areas. So again, like this one, she created values, but really should have extended them out a little bit further. But if you see a shadow on a wall because of the object, include that shadow on the wall. You know, include that in there. Include all, like every object in here has values in it. This one obviously is not done because it's still a line drawing. This one's better, although this is still line versus values. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Craftsmanship, 9 to 10 points. Careful time and extreme care was put into the entire drawing. All areas of the paper are clean and smudge-free. Excellent use of class work time. So you're on task, and Mr. Judge isn't having to tell you to get back to work. On time and complete, work is completely done. No additions or corrections need to be made. work was turned in on time. And then make sure you do the reflection part of the grading rubric. When you are done, you will grade yourself, because if you don't grade yourself, your paper's not going to be graded. Grade yourself, do the reflection, make sure your name is on this paper. You're going to turn this paper in with your drawing. Make sure your name is on the back of the paper. Those go into the inbox, and then you're done with that. Hopefully, I will have all of this ready. The examples will be ready so that hopefully they'll be up on the board. The viewfinder, again, is just to help you focus in on what you want to draw, where you want to draw, kind of give you parameters to look at. And I think that's about it. Just remember values, shading. If you look down, remember, side of the pencil, if you kind of change direction when you shade, and then you can blend even just with your finger. You can get paper towel, wrap it around your finger, and blend, but it's going to give you a much smoother value change than if you just only go in one direction. If you only go in one direction, you're going to find that it looks very striped when you're trying to do value changes. We don't want stripes. We want gradual dark to light, and then eliminating all remaining outlines. So hopefully that'll work well for you. Help each other out. You guys are sitting at groups. You all are good at everything that you do. There's somebody at the table who you can go to for help and advice and get ideas from. So help each other out, share ideas, ask, is this looking okay? What should I add? What am I missing here? Go to each other, help each other out. This is just like the photo still life drawing that we did way at the beginning of the school year, but now you're drawing from life rather than a photograph. Okay, good luck. I know you guys will do excellent. You'll be fine. Make sure you refer back to the directions and the checklist that is a part of this. Make sure you keep in mind how you are going to be graded so that you get everything that you need done. And then pencils and paper. Good luck, and we'll see you next project.